How can a little cat make so much noise? Welcome back and welcome to the second and final part of my cycling trip across Europe. You join me in Basel at kilometre 1071 as I set out across Switzerland, the Alps and then northern Italy, all the way to my final destination, Sasso Marconi, just south of Bologna, at kilometre 1865. If you enjoy this second part of my journey, as I say goodbye to the yellow agricultural lands of northern France and say hello to the vivid greens and blues of Switzerland and the red hot heat of Italy, then please give this video a thumbs up. Ask any questions you might have in the comments below, I will answer them. Share this video with anyone who might be interested in it, and please subscribe if you haven't already. So, let's get into it. Okay, day 1 of Switzerland, day 9 overall. I'm just by Lake Sursee, don't know how to pronounce it. It's really nice, and there's a group of baby waterbirds squeaking at me. Traversing Basel was stressful as hell, but once I got into the countryside and went up and down a bit, it got really nice. You'll see some photos, and the descent off the big climb of the day was very nice. So yeah, I've got about 60 more kilometers to do today. I'm not sure exactly where I'm going to camp. I just need to find somewhere. Yeah, it's all going well. It's really irritating that I have to use Swiss francs here, but that's the reality. And because I'm not in the EU, Switzerland's not in the EU, even though it's a Schengen area, I have to pay for data, I have to pay for text, I have to pay for calls. So I'm probably going to wait till I get to my hotel in Davos tomorrow evening before I properly contact my family and everyone and have another look at planning and things. So yeah, that's it. After about 1,100 kilometers, I've had my first puncture, and in fact, it's my first puncture in many years on my road bike. That is, I've had a couple on my mountain bike, but I'm having a break from pumping it up. It was on the rear wheel. A nasty shard of metal went in. Easy to take out, easy to fix, so not too bad. This is day 2 in Switzerland. I had a bit of a moment last night. I just felt really rubbish, even though it hadn't been a hard day. I wasn't tired. I didn't feel as though I was suffering at all, but I just felt a bit sad, down in the dumps. And then I set up camp, and seeing as I can check into the hotel at 3 o'clock today, I thought, oh, I'll wake up early and try and get there as quickly as possible. But actually, when I woke up, I was like, oh, I want to stay in bed, which is weird because I was in my bivvy bag, as usual, not too comfortable. But yeah, I'm on my way. I'm about 60 kilometers away from Davos, where the hotel is booked. Tomorrow's the last day in Switzerland, and it's the day I go over the Stelvio. So looking forward to having a shave and looking forward to going over some big mountains. But what do I think of Switzerland so far? They do bike lanes even better than the French. There's always a nice bike path, always, unless the road is really, really small. But I think that causes a bit of a problem, because when there isn't a bike path and you have to be on the road. Cars forget what a lot of space means, or actually they forget what a reasonable amount of space means and always pass you really close, even if there are cars coming the other way, which isn't ideal. But it's beautiful. The mountains are amazing. I went past Lake Velensee, something like that, this morning, and that was the colour, the scenery was just amazing. So yeah, day 2 in Switzerland nearly over. I'm gonna finish pumping my tyre up now. So I've got about 4 kilometers to go on what I hope is the end of this massively long climb. As you can see, the scenery is absolutely stunning. I am absolutely shattered. I met up with a group of German cyclists from Munich. They did about half the climb. I had to use their pump to properly do up the tyre that punctured this morning, or this morning. They've invited me to join them tomorrow on what would be for them a 100-mile day with over 5,000 meters of climbing. They would take my bags and make my bike light, but I need to have a think about that. Anyway, there's not much shade, which makes it very, very hot. But I'm stopping every now and then just to have a bit of a break. So feeling pretty all right, actually. I'm actually seeing some really nice cars as well, which is an added bonus. After spending the entire evening and most of early the next morning attempting to mend the same puncture that I thought I had fixed the day before, I managed to set off into what was a much colder Switzerland. There had been a lightning storm the night before, but this did not dampen my mood as I prepared to tackle the first climb of the day up to the Fluela Pass. It's so cold and windy that I've had to put my rain jacket on before going downhill. There's also no oxygen at 2,300 meters of altitude. I'm not working hard or going fast, so it's not too much of a problem, but I can feel my lungs just not filling up. But I'm nearly at the top now, so hooray. I've just come to the bottom of the descent of the Fluela Pass, or however you call it. I'm in Schusch, and the smell of overheated car brakes is horrible. It was an incredible descent. Technical in some parts, not too technical in others, and it was an absolute joy. It was absolutely freezing at the top, and it's balmy down here compared to up there. Onwards towards the Stelvio. After Schusch, there were another 2 smaller climbs. Halfway up one of them, I had lunch, a nice big bowl of soup to warm me up. I obviously had to pay for tap water again. I kept forgetting that in Switzerland they make you pay for tap water, so you're better off just finding a fountain in reality. And then I descended towards Santa Maria, where, chased by rain clouds, I would start climbing the Stelvio. I'm just over a quarter of the way up the climb. I'm having a nice little break. for the first 2-3 kilometres, well, that's a lie, 2 kilometres, it rained like hell. The storm came over, lightning, thunder, pouring rain, and then hail. But it's gone really nice again now. I was riding through thick cloud a minute ago. But this road is fabulous. I mean, it's truly amazing. The scenery is just jaw-dropping, and the road surface is silky. I mean, it's hard work, but I actually just don't mind. It's so amazing. I mean, we'll see how I feel when I get to the top after another 12 or so kilometers, but at the moment I feel incredible. It's truly amazing, despite the rain, despite, well, I'm not soaked, but my coat is. I just, oh, it's something else. It really is. This morning was incredible as well, but the headwind, and it was freezing, and it's just nothing like this. So I can't wait to carry on. The rest of the climb was equally as stunning and was a great experience. It was really hard work, but even in the last 3 kilometers, I just felt like I wanted to push. I wanted to go faster because it has such history, the Stelvio. It's often the Cima Coppia of the Giro d'Italia, which means it's the highest point of the race. And it just made me want to cycle. It was amazing. Just under halfway up, I caught up to a 23-year-old German police detective trainee who was extremely nice. He was doing his own little cycle tour on a mountain bike, and we rode together all the way until he peeled off to Bormio before I carried on to the top. We had a lovely conversation about his travels, and we spoke a bit about university, and how it's hard to find people to do crazy cycling trips with. But we just had a great chat, and it made the kilometers fly by. So yeah, then I had the joy of the descent, and this descent was like nothing else. 25 kilometers. With, I'm guessing, about 50 hairpins. It was amazing. Unfortunately, the road surface was very bad in a lot of places. Unlike the Swiss side, the Italian side is not quite as well kept. But at the same time, I didn't mind. I went down, I got into a great rhythm, overtaking motorbikes. And as I descended and the temperature grew, I just felt as though the end was near. I mean, obviously I had another 3 days to go, but yeah, so good. So that was easily the highlight of my trip. And I hope to be able to do it again sometime, this time without 20 kilos of luggage on the back. I'm in a hotel again, unfortunately. I was having dinner in a restaurant, my first Italian pizza actually, and it wasn't even a particularly good pizza, but the mozzarella and the tomato were actually mozzarella and tomato, so it was good. And while I was eating, a massive thunderstorm came, bigger than the one that I had when I was actually climbing to the top of the Stelvio. And thunderstorms are predicted, as in there's a chance of them all night. And I don't really want to sleep in a waterlogged field and wake up to soggy everything, really. So yeah, I'd rather spend 70 or so euros on a hotel, if I'm completely honest. But yes, I think that's it for this evening. I'm gonna head off to bed now. It's nearly 10 o'clock, and I shall see you. I stayed in the hotel last night, woke up really late. I did go to bed quite late anyway. Woke up really late, left really late, rode about 30 kilometers to Merano, had a lunch, and now I'm heading towards Bolzano. They all speak German here, as well as Italian, obviously, but it's a bit weird. I thought everything would be Italian when I got here, but not quite. But what is incredible is that I would say 90%, that's probably a lie, 95% of the riding I've done this morning has been on this wonderful segregated bike path, going along the river, and sometimes along the railway as well. You can see next to me. It's super smooth and it's almost Swiss. Though the mountains have a sort of a different feel to them around me. But yeah, so today's a really short day, less than 100 kilometers I think, to where I'm planning on bivvying. So I'm just taking it really nice and steady. There's no rush. I'll have my dinner, set up, and then tomorrow I'm off to Lake Garda, or Lago di Garda, and then I will bivvy again near Verona before doing the last stint to Sasso Marconi. So, see you tomorrow. I'm currently on the shores of Lake Garda, as you can see behind me. It's not a bad view, is it? I failed to resist to the temptation of going for a swim. I'm wearing sort of my everyday shorts that I've been using as pyjamas, waiting for them to dry. It's so hot that they'll be done in about 2 minutes, but yeah, getting changed was interesting. Had to sort of zip up my jersey around my waist. Managed to take my boob shorts off and put these on without anything getting too exposed. And yeah, the water was actually incredible. It was, I could be in there all day, apart from the fact that my fingers and toes got really wrinkly. And then as I was standing in the shallows, waiting for sort of my torso to dry, these two little fish came and nibbled on my feet. And at first I thought, oh, it's just a bit of sharp rock, but no, there were these two little fish that were just sat there, not a single worry in the world, and were nibbling away, which was really nice. But this morning has been a really nice ride. I've done about 80 kilometers, I think. Got about 30 to go. Yeah, second to last day. Tomorrow I'm going to wake up super early from the bivvy and try and do the last 160 kilometers as fast as possible to get to my grandparents' house. I keep getting these ants falling from the tree above me into my lap, which is not very nice. So yeah, tomorrow I'm going to wake up really early to try and get to my grandparents as quickly as possible before it gets hot, because I'm traversing the Pianura Padana, a really flat area of Italy from Verona to Bologna, which is going to be really hot. So I want to do it. I want to try and get there before lunchtime. But yeah, nearly done. Nearly done.
Tranquility Base here. The Eagle has landed.
I totally underestimated this climb. I'm essentially doing 7-kilometer climb. The first half is at well over 10% all the way. Second half is a lot less steep. But down at the shore of the lake, I did not realise that it was going to be 38 degrees and there'd be no shade pretty much. I'm essentially doing 200-meter jumps between the patches of shade and then cooling down. I've drunk about a litre of water in the past 10 minutes. It was at this point that things got a bit bad. So I'm using head torch as lighting. I'm in my bivvy bag. This is the first time I've had to fully close it. I've been usually sleeping just with the mosquito net rather than with the sort of the full cover the whole way, because there's a thunderstorm on my last night. It's actually extremely light, even though I'm having to use this head torch so that you can see me. It's nearly midnight and I could probably read a book. So I don't really mind about the lightning or the thunder. I mean, I do, obviously, it doesn't help, but I can't sleep. And seeing as I want to wake up or get going in 4 hours' time, I'm not optimistic, but we'll see how it goes. I have relocated from my bivvy bag to a bus stop. I think it would have stayed watertight, but because it was all shut and it was so humid and I was sweating and breathing so much, I was essentially getting water inside from condensation and a bit from the outside as well, probably. So I've decided to pack up and I'm going to set off for my grandparents' house now, just because I wasn't going to sleep. It's going to be horrible, but you travel faster in the dark. It feels like it anyway. So I'm going to get changed into my proper stuff because where I was camping there was no shelter, so I just packed up and left as quickly as possible. So I'm going to get changed and then I'm going to head off. Not the way I intended to end this trip, but you know, got to jazz it up at some point. Gosh, I look like death. I just had a very uncomfortable half-an-hour nap on a bench under a bus shelter. Not much else to say. I was trying to get to 100k done, but I was falling asleep on the bike, so I had to stop. I'm over halfway though, so I'm going to crack on now. Diversion number 3 of the day. The first one was a 5 kilometers extra on gravel roads, which was partially fun, partially a pain in the backside. Second one, bikes and pedestrians could get through, so thank goodness. This one, I thought, oh, I'll risk it. I'll go up to the gates to see if I can sneak through. No, which means another 5k This time not on gravel, I think. About 2 minutes ago, I was thinking of getting to my grandparents' house, smiling, singing along with the music and everything. And now I'm thinking, why? Not necessary to have more roadworks on my route. Oh well, we're nearly there, we're nearly there. We've got maybe 50 kilometres to go. After this, everything went more or less according to plan. It had been a tiring day, and as I rode through the trafficy, badly surfaced streets of Bologna, I could start to feel the end nearing. 7 kilometres from my grandparents' house, there is possibly the best ice cream shop in the world. It's called Cremeria Funivia, if you're ever in the area. Sadly, not sponsored. I had been thinking about a wonderful Italian gelato for most of the morning, but unfortunately my earlier than anticipated start meant that they were closed. This was tragic, but now I could really sense my final destination and worried grandmother calling me, so I carried on. The last bit of footage you're seeing here is the run into my grandparents' house. I'm afraid it's definitely not that exciting, but I felt that I could come up with a much better conclusion to this monumental challenge after having had a 5-hour nap in the afternoon and then a 10-hour sleep that evening. But before I do, please like this video if you enjoyed it. Ask me any questions you might have in the comment section below. Subscribe if you haven't already, and please share this journey with absolutely everyone you know. So here we go with the conclusion. I'm a fit guy, I exercise a lot, and I felt that I could physically overcome the 1,865 odd kilometres to Italy, with maybe a few niggles along the way. I'm also oddly happy riding by myself, so I did not let the thought of struggling mentally affect my mindset towards the road ahead. However, while I did have a few twinges in my knee and a few sad evenings, I could not have been prepared for the feelings of complete minuteness as I crossed 2.5 countries on my way south across Europe. I was really able to picture myself as an insignificant 1 metre 80 centimetre blob of flesh, taking up a tiny amount of space along the 1,865,000 metre stretch of road and gravel. So what did I learn from this super trip, except for feeling small? Well, thankfully, that I still love cycling. That there's something really special about discovering new places powered by your own legs, not really knowing where you are. That the Stelvio is an incredible pass that every cyclist should attempt to summit, and that I want to do this again. Thank you very much for watching. Stay tuned.